Hey, good morning. I am just had a request to make a basic Office Ally, like a new user for somebody that has maybe just started at a new office. At least that's my impression. Okay. Just a reminder, you can speed up my voice in the gear icon if you want me to talk faster. I try to be a little bit slower and methodical as I am going through my explanations, because many people are brand new and they just need to take the information a little slower. I am going to move a few things around, including my face, because I don't love to see myself on camera. Information, okay? Because I don't want to put that out on YouTube, obviously. So I've done my best to blur my screen, and yay! So what you're seeing is the appointment tab. So I've logged in. I have many logins. The logins are assigned by the security administrator. So whoever owns the practice or owns the account, they have two logins. One is a security administrator, which allows them to put new employees or new users in, and then give them essentially access or rights to different parts of the program, whether it's going to be just practice mate, or if it's going to be EHR 24/7, where the electronic health records are stored. So that is where your login comes from. Okay, it's assigned to you, so you may not get to choose your login username. That may be something that you just, typically it's your first initial last name. I handle so many different accounts that I've started having myself be assigned as whatever their username is, and then my name goes behind it so that I can actually keep the account separate. Anyway, so that's how you log in. The password is given to you. You'll get an email, and then you're asked to choose your own password. Passwords, if you forget, they'll send you an email to whatever email you asked to be part of your login information with your employer or the person who is the security administrator. And it used to be that there was a fill out a CAPTCHA, whatever form, and then you could just do a new email, or sorry, not a new email, a new password. Since all of the cyber stuff going on now, Office Ally has elected to just send you an email, and then you go through the process of resetting. Just keep in mind that your password can't be similar to like the last crazy amount, like 9 or something like that. So you have to get a little creative. So log in, and however you have your system set up, I have mine set up so that it opens up to appointments, to the appointment, because that's typically where, when I'm in an office answering the telephone, where I'm going to be most of the time. You can add a new appointment from this tab here, but generally I add a new appointment from wherever that appointment time is going to be. So let me just go further in the future, then it's not so messy. Okay, so I can choose a time. So I typically say, hey, patient, what's the best day or time for you? What do you need to be seen for? And how can we best accommodate you? Maybe they've been in before, so let's assume that they've been into the office before. I'm going to choose Tuesday the 3rd, and I have a test patient named Joe Cool. I'm going to bring him up. So what is the person being seen for? I have blurred out the name of the office and the provider. So if it's a first time, you may have new eval in here. You may have new patient in here. It's all in how the provider has set up their account. In this case, let's say that Joe Cool is a new eval. So I should get a pop-up, and here I got an evaluation. This provider has evals coded, color-coded. Pretty cool, right? That can be done in Manage Office. And so the new evals are this bright green color. Okay, and then we can make little notes in here if we need to. Since it's a first eval, their name, first name, last name, date of birth in this account is mandatory to be in the system as a patient. I can fill that information in later if I need to, but for this eval, this provider would like to know, what are they being seen for? So we're going to say neck pain. What insurance maybe do they have? Insurance is Primera. And who is their referring doc? Referring doc. How about, this is really old, Dr. Quincy. So if you don't know who Dr. Quincy is, it's an old TV program from like, gosh, the 80s, maybe even the 70s. Okay, so then we get to save the appointment. Okay, down here, click save. Okay, so here's Joe Cool. You saw him briefly. Now he's X'd out. Okay, so let's pretend it is December 3rd, 2024, and Joe walks in the door. You can check him in from right here. Hey, patient, here's your paperwork, or they've downloaded it from your guys' website. Maybe you have it set up here within the Office Ally system and they have gotten an email ahead of time. However you have that set up, not really sure. Many possibilities there. So I won't go into that today. Let's just do the appointment. So, hey, you're here. Thanks so much for checking in. I'll grab your paperwork and I'm going to check you in. When you check them in, before their demographics have been entered, so you may want to wait, you've actually just created a visit. Okay. What does that mean? Well, after the demographics and insurance and all of that get entered, you may have to go back in to the visit and edit their info, like just click this little pencil, edit, and then update. And it will update any information prior, but you have to do it prior to making a claim if you're going to make a claim. But if you're just a receptionist, hey, not just a receptionist. If you are the receptionist, then this is maybe how your person that you're working for wants you to check them in. So check them in. Here's the visit information. They're here for an eval. You notice this is all blank. It marries up with the electronic health record so that when the practitioner fills out their electronic health record information, it will carry over to this visit. Here's their billing information. We may not have a diagnosis or anything in there yet. There may not be any charges in there yet, but if they want to make a payment, here would be a good time to take their copay. Walked in the door, checking them in. Hey, Joe Cool, would you like to make your copay today? Cash, check, credit, however you want to record it. This person doesn't have an integration of their credit card. They're using Square and they actually have the QR code by the front desk. So the person can scan the QR code. They'll put in their information and the email goes separately, not into the Office Ally system, but separately, that can be posted later. But how are they wanting to pay? So maybe they're going to use a credit card, but guess what? It's not integrated. So I'm not like, here's the deal. So this provider, oh, let me out. Let me out. Stand by. So Joe Cool's come in. He wants to make his copay. Let's just say for this practitioner would prefer it just go under cash, and we do add a payment. Okay. I need to put in, it's $20 copay. Okay, so I'm going to add a payment. And we haven't applied it yet. We can edit. There's a lot of things we can do. But if this is how you want to record it, in this particular case, we are going to put in that because it was a credit card, this person wants me to put it in as square, but it's cash because we don't have the integration set up, right? So we're just going to update it. So now that copay goes with that visit. Okay, it's done. They've checked in. They get called back to the back, and then you're pretty much done with that patient. Checked in, right? Now, what happens if they're brand new? Well, we have some offices have created a new patient. Let's see, manage patients. I think it's F. So there's an F function, but right here you can add a new patient. Where's the F function? Down here, patient list, add a new patient is F9. So the key on your keyboard would be F9. So you can add your new patient. What some offices have done is create a placeholder. So whether you call it miscellaneous or whatever you want that placeholder to be, so that you can hold that spot and then go back and update when you have all the information gathered. So somebody calls up or they're in front of your desk, they've never been seen before, you're going to set them up. So let's create a new patient. Oops. Charlie Brown. Uh, 01/01/1950. A few things have changed in this demographics area, just so you know. There's now gender identity. If that is something that you need to fill out, it's there. There's also sexual orientation, preferred language. These are optional. Right now, the only, in this account, the only thing that I need to put in is last name, first name, whether this is an insurance thing, okay? Insurance HCFA form thing. The information that you put in here goes directly to their claim form. So it's important, okay? I'm putting in the date of birth, but you definitely need first name, last name, and this choosing male, female, or unknown is required, okay? Address, keep in mind that if you're going to use the reminder feature, you need to put the cell phone in the cell phone. Don't put it in as a home phone, even though they could be using it as their primary phone number, please put it in under cell phone, because that does directly pull, the system directly pulls from there. You can specify, if you choose, what their primary is. Right? There's all these, and then it is sometimes really helpful. Here's your reminder mate settings, to have a good email address. Okay. This practitioner does not have reminder mate, but it can be set up. Okay. Secondary information, if they're giving you emergency contact information, it goes here, next of kin, any of these things. Okay. Add a patient. So you'll be taken out, and then we can go back in. There's Charlie. Okay. When they check in, they're going to give you forms, unless it's going into the system, and an insurance card. It's really important for you to take a copy, unless you're scanning, however you're capturing an image or a copy of that card. You're going to become an expert at looking at insurance cards. If it has a payer ID number, super helpful. Many of them don't anymore. So front and back of the card, and if you're needing to take a copy of their driver's license, also super important. Those documents can be put right into the system, right here. Okay. Now keep in mind that this place for documents is different and is not shared by the electronic health record document area. Okay. So if you're putting things in here in PracticeMate, it stays in PracticeMate. If you're putting things in EHR, electronic health record, it stays there. To my knowledge, those two areas do not marry up. Okay. So I try to keep the things that are about business, their intake form, insurance information, all of that in the PracticeMate side. Clinical things, that may be uploaded in the electronic health record side. Maybe you have an immunization record that you know, like, seriously, I have my kids' immunization record. I still carry it in my wallet, and they're adults, but you never know. It's a mom thing, I'm sure, but I can make a photocopy or scan it, and then I can put that in the system. But if it's a medical type of thing, I tend to put that in the EHR side. Okay, but it doesn't have to be. If you're only using PracticeMate, it can for sure go here. You just have to decide what kind of document you're uploading. Okay, so I've clicked it. I can type in a description. Here's the date that I'm putting the document in. What kind of document is it? Is it intake form? Is it a financial form? If it's something like that, I may put that it's an intake form, but I might put that it's a immunization record if I'm not using electronic health record. So there's a couple of workarounds, you know what I mean? So, and then you choose your file, and then it will upload it right into, and it will stay here. Okay. What else do I need to tell you? Insurance information goes here. There should be a list that's already been created. I remember how on his appointment, I said he had Primera. Search. Did I spell it wrong? Come on, you can do it. I guess we're just slow today. Funny, maybe my pop-up blocker. Oh, hello? Thank you. I'll say nice things. Okay, so subscriber ID comes directly off of the card. So put the ID in. Primera tends to be like 3 letters followed by a number. Okay, group number goes here if they have one. And then what type of plan do they have? Look on the card and like, does it say it's a preferred? Is it a PPO? Is it a gold plan? So we're going to say preferred PPO. Does it say on the card that they have a copay? Good question. Sometimes it will. And I would say, talk with your person, your employer, the practitioner, whatever. What do you want to collect? Legally, can you collect? If it says on the card that they have a $35 copay for an office visit, then I would put 35 in here unless somebody is verifying their benefits. Talk with your billing person. How do you want to handle that? Okay. Do they need an authorization? That information can go here. Sometimes what we have done in certain offices is, we know that their insurance only offers them a certain number of visits. So say they have 12 visits. I'm going to put a 12 in here and it's going to count down. Now it's not going to alert anybody, but if you'll notice when you're booking appointments, it will say number of visits left. So although it doesn't remind you, the information is there and it does count down. Sometimes for Medicare, that's helpful because they get a certain dollar amount or something needs to happen when they reach a certain dollar amount, like some coding things, whatever, talk to your billing person. So this can be a handy little tool, even though you don't have an authorization number. I really like this number of visits authorized because they might have 30 visits of PT and it will count down. And then pretty soon the PT will notice, oh, you only have 5 visits left. They have to file a report or, there's lots of things. Okay. So this is where your insurance information goes. And then you can go down here and hit update. If they have a secondary, that information can go here. If they are a dependent of somebody else, hey, you have to put in the guarantor. So say it's a parent. The parent needs to go into the system, even though they're not being seen at the clinic or the office, because they're the guarantor, they're the ones responsible. And then you can put in their dependent and that. So it's an insurance thing. They have to be in the system in order for their information to go on the HCFA form as the guarantor, and then the dependent or the spouse or whatever is secondary. So you may have to enter 2 people, not just the patient. FYI. Okay. We can hit update here. And then you'll notice I'm spinning. Okay. So we have entered our new patient. We have set up his insurance. We have taken his copay. And then I will assume for this basic intro that they are now going to be seen, and on the back end, they've gone back to the practitioner and they're potentially going to do something in EHR, and then we can move forward from there. I hope that's been helpful. One other insurance little thing I will say is if I go back to my guy, let's go to my friend Joe. And I'm going to go and change his insurance information. My last example with Joe was for auto post errors. So his insurance company name is Auto Post Errors. I want to say that there are these little things that are not usual. What if they were in a car accident and they have an attorney? How do we keep track of that? Well, your office may choose to create different insurance names by attorneys' names. Or in this particular case, This is a lien, okay? And so what that means is they have signed a document that says, I agree when my car accident case or my whatever case, slip and fall, could be homeowners, whatever the case is, they have an attorney. And so we have chosen, let's say this person is personal injury. So I'm going to say it's personal injury. That's how it's coded. It's a lien. And in the subscriber information, I'm going to put the name of the attorney. So I'll leave out the middle. But Dewey and Howe is the attorney's name. Okay. So now I have something that goes in there, and I can hit update. How many visits are authorized? We don't need that. They don't need an authorization number. Update. Okay. Now we can go into the patient demographics and make a note. So this is my last person. So if I hit recent charts, my last person that I was just in their chart for will show up. You can't see it, but it's there in the drop-down menu. That's a little bit of a shortcut for you. In patient data, down here at the very bottom, there's a spot to make notes. Okay, so I'm going to say lien form was signed and Dewey and Howe is attorney. I might list their phone number or their fax number or their legal assistant's name. The sky's the limit. Okay, you can you could see I can't spell today. Legal assistant, and then click add note. What? Okay, so this note is there for everybody to see. So this is one spot to be able to leave a note that's in general for the entire account. You can leave notes other places. You can leave notes in visits, but I tend to put it here because it's always going to stay here. It's not per visit, like you don't have to go hunting for it, okay? So that could be helpful. You can, from here, print the patient demographics. That was a question earlier. Here you can print the patient demographics. If they have made any payment, this is a payments tab for credit cards. Here's their appointment history. This was one question. Well, I guess you get to see it since I didn't blur it out. So Joe has had all of these appointments. The past appointments appear down below. The future appointments are upcoming, and you can print these. Okay, you can add an appointment from here, but you can also print their upcoming appointments. You can't print the past ones. You can print the upcoming ones. Okay. Say for instance, God forbid, there's an emergency and somebody's had to call 911 and the ambulance is coming. Great thing to do for the ambulance folks is print the patient demographics. They will be so appreciative. Okay, so patient data down here, print patient demographics. Okay, it's just popped up. What am I going to get? This is what you can hand to the ambulance crew. Here's date of birth. Here's his guarantor. Here's the current insurance information that we have. If this is your office policy, this would be really helpful. as a former emergency medical technician for 20 years, it is great to have some information. Maybe they don't have a family member with them, maybe they're not conscious, whatever the case may be, this is super helpful. It gives some basic information for the hospital when the medics are taking them in and transporting them. So it's at the bottom of patient data, print patient demographics. Fantastic. Insurance information, all of this will go to the HCFA form. So now if this patient comes in and they've made a future appointment, guess what? Every form that's insurance is going to have this attorney's name on it. Not a big deal. That's for billing to handle if this is how you want it to go. But that may be a little bit of a workaround for you. Let's see. Any other little tidbits? I will say if your person doesn't want to block out their schedule for future, let me take you to this other screen. Screen one, here, share, continue. Okay, so this person has color coded lots of different, right? Let me go to this week. I've been logged out. Stand by. I'm not giving away my login information, so sorry. Here we are. Okay, so you can see it. This person is out on vacation. They went into the Manage Office tab and they booked out. So there's red X's. You can't schedule. Excellent use of the software. If you don't want to go to all that trouble or it's flexible, you may want to, let me just go off to the future. Okay, here's the future schedule. I've blocked it out so you can't really see, but I could put in, rather than these red X's blocking, I could put in my miscellaneous patient and I could block out the day. So it's up to the practitioner that you're working with how they want to handle that. Okay, but it's super helpful to have like a holiday. Create a patient called holiday. You have to put in a fake date of birth. You have to put in their male, female, or unknown because that's a requirement. And then when you book you would book an event or book an appointment, and that means that you can then control and just put like a temporary block. Easy enough. But the best way to do that is to create some fake patients, if you will. Maybe you're gonna have one called Do Not Book, right? But find out, and that way you can put those in for special meetings or however but you have to name the patient that so that it shows up on the schedule as that. Choose a color, and then everybody knows. One last thing, let me go back to this schedule. I suppose I lost my train of thought now. You can book time out. So this practitioner has chosen to make this is their miscellaneous, and they're taking off on Friday afternoons, and we can, let me show you. You can book them out. I don't see it. Let me try. Miscellaneous patient. Here we go. So I have to make a new appointment. So I'm making an appointment. I'm going to call it, there's a miscellaneous in here. Miscellaneous. Okay. The max is 240 minutes. But look, I can repeat. I can repeat. So every Friday for 20 times, I can, so you, right? You can schedule somebody for multiple appointments. Okay. How many times are they coming? Now, you'll have to look ahead and double check that you haven't booked on somebody else, because it doesn't give you an alert saying, oh, there's somebody already here. But if you've looked ahead and somebody wants to come every other day for 3 weeks, you can book that from here. Okay. How many days? 7 days in between. So that's 1 time a week. But maybe you're going to do every 2 days. It can be done from here. Okay. So it allows you to book out time. There's also in here, we've created a visit reason called holiday. It's red, and for that reason. So there used to be in Manage Office, I don't think it's there for holidays. You could pull in the holidays, and Office Ally would put them in for the whole year based on the traditional 6. And now I think it's 7. That doesn't exist anymore, I don't think. So you may have to go through the calendar for the whole year and just put the holidays in. Anything else I can think of? I don't think so. That's quite a lot for today. The only other thing that I remember was somebody had asked about encounters. And so I think that I need a little bit more information for you to tell me what area you were talking about for encounter. Encounter reasons, is that in EHR? Or is it, because it's not like a visit reason is not an encounter. So give me more information. And if you want to see other videos about specific things, just drop a note in the comments, and I do get an email, and then I can help make a video that shows you a different explanation. But encounter, I'm just not sure. Let me stop my screen share 1 second. And let me open this up in EHR and see just real quick. Let me pause a second. Okay, found it. And I thought it was in EHR. So I'm now in EHR. And if you don't have 2 screens, it's super helpful to have 2 screens. Okay, so pardon my face while I'm looking at my other screen. So here is your encounter provider. This happens to be, I went to Joe Cool, right? In EHR. If I go to find his progress notes, I'm looking to see, we didn't check him in, so his note isn't going to be in, but here, daily documentation. So this is where we're finding encounters. So I need a little more information about what your question was about how do I handle encounters? Because I'm not quite sure what you were talking about. But in EHR, if you have access to it, this is, you can look into the patient's chart. Sometimes with billing, you need to go into the patient's chart in order to kind of sift through and make sure that the diagnosis is correct, or pull a few things out. The document center is where you can find different things. Let me do that in a different video, okay? Because this one's getting long, and I know you're probably, this is getting deeper than just basic, okay? Questions, put them in the comments below, send me an email, and if you need something else, reach out and I will be sure to help. Thanks again for dropping by.